Ready? Hi everybody, Mandy Gonzalez here to welcome you to the second week of the Toms of Maine Wicked Fresh chat series. I'm here today to talk to you about my life on stage and off. So if you let the questions begin, just type in any questions in the Facebook or Ustream chat boxes and we'll get started. How did you land the role of Elphaba in Wicked the Musical? Well, I had done, it's a good question. I had done, I had auditioned for Wicked, and at the time they had offered me the role of Elphaba to go on tour. And at the same time I was offered that, I was also involved with In the Heights. And In the Heights was going to, we had just done the workshop, and In the Heights was going to move to off-Broadway, and so it was kind of like, one of those crazy choices that you have to make where, well, I have to play this amazing role or this amazing role. So I was with In the Heights for a long time, so I decided to stay with In the Heights. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh no, it's never going to happen. I can't believe it. I turned it down. And then 2 years into my run into In the Heights, Wicked called and asked if I was interested in coming and replacing as Elphaba on Broadway. And I said yes. So that's how I got the role. How do you prepare for a role? Any rituals? Yeah, I do a lot to prepare for a role. I try to keep a journal of my characters, so I kind of embody their inner life. So I do that with all of my characters that I portray, and I do a lot of research, reading different books. When I did In the Heights, it was going up to Washington Heights like every weekend before the show started, and just feeling what that community was like. And yeah, so I do a lot. How do you stay healthy doing 8 shows a week? Well, living in New York, you do your best. I would say, it's really tough because, I take the subway to and from work. There's a lot of people on the subway, so I try not to touch the poles as much as possible. During the winter months, I wear gloves, and I do my best. You can only do your best at doing that, but I try to really, I live my life as kind of like an athlete. I don't drink, I don't eat after the show. I don't do much except the show. So especially with a role like Elphaba, you really have to get your rest in and get ready to sing that night, because there's 2,000 people watching you every night and you have to be ready. So I try to do my best, and on those nights when it just doesn't happen and I'm sick or this and that, I beat myself up, and then I wake up the next day and hopefully I'm better and I come back and do the show. How do you relax after a show? Well, right now I would say that the show is so exhilarating and exhausting. So by the time I get home, I'm really tired. So I watch, pretty recent, I got DVR, which is fantastic. So I tape different shows that I love, and when I get home, I watch them, and then I fall asleep. Usually my dog's already asleep, so by the time I get home, it's pretty quiet in the place. So yeah, I get home, and then I watch TV and I crash. What would be your dream role? Fan, Fatigue Bounce? I like the name. What would be my dream role? Oh my gosh, there's so many roles that I would love to play. Of course, my dream would to do an original piece. I like taking chances on original material, and to do something that is new and fresh and exciting and challenging. I would love to play Evita. I would just love to do something that's challenging and scares me, and it's just exciting. What is your favorite scene in Wicked? Let's see. I have a lot of favorite scenes in Wicked. I love when I first get to run out. I mean, there's no entrance like that where you just get to kind of start with the doors open and you're standing back there with the stagehand and he's like waiting to open the door and you're waiting to run, and then you just run out and you're like, here I am. So I love that moment. I also love Defying Gravity because I feel like I just get to go through so many different emotions as an actress, and the song to sing is fantastic, and when I get to fly, it's incredible. I mean, you just can't ask for a better closing of an act. So, how hard is it to stay in character and not laugh at some of the things going on during the show? Lauren Bergen. Wow. That's a good question. I think that, gosh, with live theater, 8 shows a week, sometimes things happen. Surprising enough, it's very hard. You're human, and it's hard not to always be in the show. But sometimes it happens, and I think that you just you laugh sometimes, and it just sometimes you try to let that work for the character, sometimes not, and you try to do your best to not let it happen again. And but if it happens, you just try not to beat yourself up, and I think that sometimes when you're really focused, it really doesn't happen. So because you're so in the moment, and you're so in everything. So, but sometimes, if you're slipping, you're tired, it can happen. But you just try not to beat yourself up, and you just move on. Go on to the next scene.